Alexander Usyk knocks out Daniel Dubois in round 9. Paulie Malignaggi for Paulie TV. A lot to unpack in this fight. I'm sure there's a lot of opinions going around, a lot of talk, a lot of debate, and a lot of controversy being discussed here. But I'm going to probably I'll tell you what, here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to probably wind up discussing more controversial things about this fight than you might be thinking about. Okay, let's go with the obvious. Okay, let's go. There are a couple of obvious things here that happened in this fight. First off, the knockdown of Usyk that was ruled low is probably not so low. You know, it's on the belt line. Whenever your shorts are above your belly button, a shot at the belt line is supposed to be legal. It seemed like it was around that legal area. You know, it's we're kind of too close to call to legitimately call it a low blow. And another thing, that's a body shot knockdown for all intents and purposes, right? This is not the first time we've seen Usyk go down from a body shot. Remember, there's an amateur fight where he fought Artur Beterbiev and he beats Beterbiev on points, but Usyk suffered a knockdown from a body shot in that fight as well. So it could be something to think about here. One of those things, one of those talking points where you're thinking about, maybe Usyk doesn't take it as well to the body as some other guys might. And certainly, you can make a really strong case that this was a body shot knockdown. Now, could it have been a body shot knockout if it's not ruled a low blow? Yeah, he took the full 5 minutes. A lot of that also was on Pabon. I felt like Pabon was being a little bit of a homer referee. Louis Pabon, who's a veteran of a lot of fights, he's a mixed bag. At times he's a good ref. At times I have had other complaints about him in other fights. But nonetheless, I felt like in this fight he was a little bit of a homer for Usyk. I felt like he was on top of Dubois a little bit too much. And even when Usyk was taking the time to come back from the alleged low blow, he was kind of telling him take more time. You get 5 minutes, but Usyk was ready to come back after about 3 minutes, and Pabon was like, basically made him take the full 5 minutes. And it's like, it's your job, the referee. It's not your job to coach the fighter through the fight as well, or through the way he should take his breaks from what are deemed fouls. The debate is, would it have been a body shot knockout? Would Usyk have stayed down if he knows he's being counted to 10, or would he, have bit the bullet and stood up? That's always going to be a debate and a hot topic. When you know you got 5 minutes and you know it's ruled low and you're in pain, dude, you're going to take your time. If you want to get up from being in pain from a knockdown, you may bite the bullet and still try to get up. Now, whether he would have beaten the count or not in 10 seconds, again, that's going to be a debate. Because again, if you're talking about this fight, this punch was low, this punch was legal, then he would obviously have to beat that. He would have to be up in 10 seconds, and that's debatable. It's debatable. It's something for discussion. But I don't even think that's the biggest problem with the fight here. My biggest problem with the fight here is the fight is outdoors in Poland. It's raining cats and dogs. They don't have the ring very protected. The ring is completely slippery, okay? And that is causing the footwork of the fighters. I've trained in slippery rings. Thankfully, I've never fought in slippery rings. I've trained in slippery rings. At times I've had idiot managers or idiot trainers, or sometimes I've gone to some idiot's gym and then trained in a gym, and they've had like that vinyl flooring on the ring, which I can't stand because it doesn't soak up any wetness. And I could not stand training in rings like that. But if you're dealing with rain and it's getting inside the ring, you're ruining the entire footwork of the fight. You're ruining the entire evolution of the fight, of the way the fight is going to go. Now, I don't want to take away credit from Dubois, and I don't want to take away credit from Usyk. They both put on a good fight, and it was an entertaining fight. And I feel like Dubois was always going to be a bit sharper than we've seen him in this fight. He came in a lot lighter. He was very motivated. It was his opportunity. It was his big opportunity. So certainly you can't take away a lot from him there. But dude, when you're a footwork kind of fighter and there's a wet ring, I'm telling you, it ruins everything. You can even see the shot that Usyk takes to the body, which we're going to call it legal. For all intents and purposes, this is a legal shot. He's kind of trying to push off to the right, to his own right. He's trying to punching over with the right, and he's trying to sidestep to the right. But you got to push off your left foot. And when the ring is wet, pushing off your anchor foot is almost impossible because that anchor kind of gives out. So it's not letting you push off. If you notice at different times, both guys had this problem, it's possible that body shot, that low blow body shot, might not even land if the ring isn't wet, because Usyk may be able to slide out, because that's his intention. He is on his way out to the right. He just, you can hear the guy sliding, bro, but you're not exactly seeing it. But dude, I mean, when you're in the ring, it's even on a higher level. It's annoying to watch, especially for somebody like me who actually knows what it feels like. But I don't know if to the layman they're gonna understand how difficult this is. But when you're actually the one in the ring trying to move around and maneuver, especially if you're a guy who changes directions really quickly like Usyk does, and even honestly if you're a fighter who's fighting backwards, because you gotta turn that defense to offense where you're kind of pushing back and then you're instantly pushing forward, so your back foot is the anchor, and all of a sudden it slides out from under you, or you got to push off in either direction. It's a little bit more difficult to fight going backwards in a wet ring, but it's difficult for both guys regardless. You know what I mean? You shouldn't even have fought the fight, bro. I mean, this is crazy. How do you host a fight and you don't protect the ring correctly with that kind of rain? I mean, it ruined the whole fight. It really did. I don't know what kind of fight you would have had if the ring is dry. And I'm telling you, and I still think Dubois would have fought well. And I think he was very prepared. But I also think Usyk doesn't look as flawed in this fight if the ring is dry, is basically what I'm trying to say. I mean, some of you are not going to like what I'm saying here. They're going to make like it's excuses. But honestly, I think it affected Dubois as well. The 8th round knockdown that Dubois takes, if you look at it, his back foot is sliding out. He takes the 9 count. One issue I'm starting to have with Dubois, and again, he's a world-class fighter, but it seems like he gets the fight beaten out of him and he kind of quits on himself. With Joyce, he broke his orbital and right away he was kind of out of the fight. It seemed like once Usyk started getting to him, you can see like the fight kind of leaving him, like the fighting spirit kind of leaving him. That knockdown around 8, it was like an accumulation, but not a lot of hard shots landed. He just is starting to feel the heat from Usyk's pressure, and Usyk has some weird pressure because again, he changes angles and he's punching at you from different angles and he's making you feel like heat is on you even when it's not. And the knockdown itself, I mean, he's taking some shots, but his back foot slides out from under him. He's trying to plant that back foot getting away, and it slides out from under him. He doesn't complain about the slip or anything, because at that point, both guys have been slipping like crazy, right? So, I mean, he doesn't complain about the slip, but he also takes a 9 count instead of an 8 count. He almost got counted out right there. You can see like his body language just isn't in it. And then the knockout punch in round 9, again, I mean, it wasn't the hardest punch, but he took a couple of good right hooks right before it. None of them being hard enough to stop a fight. But again, it seemed like he was almost like mentally checking out of the fight already, and that's a shame. I'm not sure. Again, Dubois is a world-class fighter, but I think there are guys who probably are stronger mentally than Dubois. Yeah, I could see it in the Joyce fight where he got hit with that jab and broke his orbital bone, and it was like he instantly like was done. And don't get me wrong, it's a difficult injury to deal with, but even at like an extra round or 2 rounds or whatever, he was just done right then and there. So it seemed like that happened to Dubois as this fight went on as well. Also, so the slippery ring really affected both guys. But again, it's possible that controversial shot doesn't even land if the ring is dry. That's what I'm saying. You may get an entirely different kind of fight. It really, really was annoying to watch because I don't understand how you can host that level of a fight and not have this precaution properly taken. I mean, there have been outdoor fights where there have been rain. I was at Vladimir Klitschko versus David Haye in Germany. Freaking pouring, bro. It was absolutely pouring. But the ring was dry. You know what I mean? They made sure the protection over the ring was dry. These guys, you can hear their feet like squeaking because that ring is so wet. It is ruining the entire dynamic of the fight, man. That's my take on this fight, man. It's hard for me to gauge. Like usually I would be telling you, okay, what do you think of Dubois? What do you think of Usyk after this fight? How'd they look? I'm gonna give Dubois credit. He got on a better performance than people expected, but I cannot criticize Usyk for this because he's mainly a footwork guy, and this ring is destructive to footwork. I mean, the rain is completely destructive to footwork. I mean, he gets credit for even coming back and stopping Dubois with probably a little bit of help from the referee, but I mean, it's a hard fight to just judge overall because the biggest factor in the whole fight is the rain and the wet ring. And the fact that nobody's talking about that, everybody's talking about this alleged low blow, which again, I think it was probably legal. It's most likely a legal shot. But that's not even the biggest deal. The wet ring, the rain, the ring not being protected is the biggest deal in this fight. That should be the main discussion topic here. I'm Paulie Malignaggi. This is Paulie TV. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know if you guys agree. Well, I know there's going to be a debate about this body shot, a low blow, but what the rain, guys, the rain. I'll see you.